people come.
Yeah, she's there.
We're out there really. It's like before camera.
Oh, here comes one. We left about 3 years ago. She abandoned us.
Who did?
Jeannie, she went down there.
Oh no, she just upgraded.
Oh, I see.
Please stand for the pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you could all remain standing, please, we're going to have a moment of silence in memory of Corporal Eugene Cole. All right, thank you, everybody. You may be seated. Good evening, everybody. We have no good news and recognition tonight. Pretty much true. I'm looking for a motion for the approval of the minutes of April 1st of 2019. Richard, seconded by Jen Poirier. All those in favor? All those opposed? Are there any abstentions? Seeing none, it is a vote. Communications.
Just have one, received a letter of resignation from Kayla Medor, special ed teacher at Bloomfield Elementary School, effective in June. I accepted that.
Okay. Is there any school board personnel who wish to speak tonight? Jeez. Long day. School personnel who would like to speak tonight? Seeing none. We're now at the visitor part where we can all speak. I have a list of 4 names of people that will speak on the Indian issue. And you will be given, John Moody is going to time it. You'll be given 2 to 3 minutes to speak. The first person I have on my list is Michelle Lewis.
My name is Michelle Lewis. I'm here to represent the majority of the communities of MS City 54 and asking that you honor our request for a referendum vote. We all realize that you have listened to about every argument and plea from both sides of this debate, so I'll make it brief. The Skowhegan Indian name is a celebration of the heritage and culture of the original inhabitants of this area. The people of Skowhegan are huge supporters of Native American heritage. The name Indian is in the heart and soul of an entire community. Removing the name Indians is about more than a high school name or symbol. It single-handedly is destroying the love people have for their community roots. We acknowledge that everyone has their own opinion on this topic. However, we do not feel that the vote of March 7th reflects the will of the community. We fully understand that a referendum vote is not non-binding, but hope you will honor our request to be heard. The only reason to not grant us a vote is that you know it will show that you did not represent the community. Please vote yes and allow us our district-wide vote. Thank you.
The next speaker I have on my list is Jessica Ward.
Woo!
My name is Jessica Ward, and I'm a resident taxpayer in Skowhegan, not an outsider, a 1994 graduate of Skowhegan Area High School, the principal at a local high school, and I currently have 2 children in the district. The first point I would like to make tonight is that you already voted on and made the right decision to change the Indian nickname. There are many locals here with me tonight who stand by your decision and support this change. I only emphasize this because some who oppose this change have insinuated that there is no local support and that is false. People from our community, state representatives, legal counsel, the Department of Education, the governor, Native American leaders, and many others gave you the information you needed to make the decision that you made. This non-binding referendum to not change the mascot is an attempt by SIP to delegitimize the members of this school board. And a referendum will only undermine this and all further decisions that are made under your leadership. This non-binding referendum will continue to give voice and power to white privilege, to those who wish to continue to perpetuate harmful stereotypes and create a culture in our schools that marginalized voices do not matter. At my school, we have a strong group of students involved with our civil rights team, and I have been able to connect them with the civil rights team here at Skowhegan. My hope is that these students can collaborate together to help our schools to heal, to be more educated about and accepting of all students, no matter race, gender, sexual identity, religion, disability, or sexual orientation. This referendum would undermine this important work that needs to be done to make our schools safer and more accepting. Given the seemingly growing intolerance to minorities at Skowhegan High School, as a mom of a Black American student, I have growing concerns for my child's welfare and her education. A referendum continues to give voice to those who wish to suppress a marginalized group, whose leaders have already come forward and told you that this nickname is harmful to their culture, to their children, and that it is not honoring their people. But we're going to continue to do this anyway? That doesn't sit well with me or any of these other locals here with me tonight who just support the decision that you already made. And just in case you're unaware, we're all wearing red tonight. So the reason why we're wearing red tonight is to honor the missing and murdered Indigenous women, because Indian mascots promote the stereotyping, objectification, and dehumanization of all Indigenous people. Thank you.
The next speaker on the list is Alex Kinney.
You go, Alex. My name is June Wyman. I am from Skowhegan. My grandson has been very involved with this, with gathering names on petitions. He has been to the school board meetings, he has been to the rallies, and he actually attended the committee meeting in Augusta. We debated on whether to allow him to speak because of the bullying and harassment that has been very evident online, and we're hoping you will show him the respect. He would like to tell you how this has affected him and what he wants you to hear.
Good evening, members of the school board. My name is Alex, and I go to school in Skowhegan. I want to thank the board member who responded to my first email. I appreciate her taking the time to read it and write back tonight. Another board member who wrote back stating she was not in favor of a vote because she represented the children of our district and they are not old enough to vote. I collected names on our petition asking a vote even though I can't vote. My parents signed the petition, 5 grandparents signed the petition, and a great-grandmother, a great-great-aunt, and more than half a dozen aunts, uncles, and cousins. That is at least 15 people in favor of having a vote, as well as many friends and neighbors who signed. I may not be able to vote, but all of these people can, and they represent me. They are speaking for me and my future, as well as their own feelings on this issue. I did not realize my great-grandmother had Indian blood until she told me that we are related to the original Abenaki settlers in Norridgewock. I want the opportunity to honor my ancestors and learn how they influenced our town and our state. They are the reason we are all here today. I have carried a sign during our rallies that states, "Teach me history, don't bury it." This is my sign. This is my history. This says it all. This is me. This is me asking you to do the right thing by honoring my rights and allow a vote so that my family's history is not lost. Thank you.
My last speaker for tonight is Mike Jones.
Good evening. Thank you guys for allowing me to speak. My name is Mike Jones. Again, I'm not from away. Don't have a fancy title. I'm just a teacher here at the high school. Like many in this room, I was born here, educated here, pay my taxes, and I believe in this community just like all of you guys. I can definitely say I do not support the vote for this referendum, and I ask the board to forego the vote and stay informed on the March 7th vote and decision. I want you guys to know I'm really proud of you all for this board's decision to retire the mascot. Despite all the controversy, criticism, sometimes even intense outside pressure and intimidation, you found the courage to lead us in a direction that embraces tolerance, compassion, acceptance, and equality for all. Thank you for helping this school community come out on the right side of humanity. As divided as the community is right now, please know you are going to have a lot of support moving forward. It's clearly displayed here tonight. And also remember, standing up for what's ethically right will always be the right thing to do. It is clearly evident that this change will not be easy. The climate in our community, and specifically at the high school where I work, has been damaged. The escalation of threatening, harassment, targeting of individuals, especially those who have spoken for change, is a direct reflection, in my opinion, of the behavior of some of the adults throughout this process. Entertaining a non-binding referendum on such an issue will only drag this community into a darker place, wasting more valuable time and resources just to debate this artificial identity that has no positive educational outcomes for our students. This referendum is sneaky. It's allowing it, for us allowing it, it undermines the mission and the court-affirmed state mandate that guides the governing body of this school board and all others. While this controversy continues to overshadow the successes and strengths that our school district shares, there is an effort, I believe, in this community and also within this room that encourages voters to express their discontent by voting down the district budget. It is so shameful to think that we're so deep in this that anybody would consider threatening opportunities for our children who are already caught in the middle of this thing. They need our support. We're better than that, right? We face so many other challenges in this region, and this school district is the heart of this community. Amazingly resilient given the hard financial times and everything else we face. We need to focus our priorities. We need to ensure that our kids have everything they need to be successful. In the best circumstances, I would be asking you guys to protect the integrity of this board and all future decisions you make, to forego the referendum. But if that's unrealistic, I will take this last opportunity to urge any of you that still thinks that voting in favor of this referendum is a good decision for the students' educational and emotional needs. Please, please reconsider. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other speakers tonight not on this subject? Is there anybody else that would like to address the board on a different issue?
Oh, well, yeah, kind of. Did you guys get my email? My name's Catherine Kelly. Only 2 of you responded. Do you guys, do you read your email?
Okay, that's on the same subject?
No. It was about corruption.
Okay, we gotta move on.
All right. Thanks for answering.
The next item on the agenda reads, Board consideration of a non-binding advisory vote survey of the June referendum regarding the use of the Indian name and imagery and mascot. I have a couple things I'd like to say before we get started. I've given this a lot of thought in the last months, especially in the last couple of weeks. There have been several, sorry, it's just a very emotional issue for me. There have been several conversations that I've had with people that are local, some Native Americans, some not. I have to say, folks, that I've heard everything that you guys have all said, and I've tried to see it from both sides, but for us to go for this referendum, in my opinion, is wrong. It's undermining the board's authority. Plain and simple, it's the law. I have it right here. So, without further ado, I'm going to open it up to the rest of the board if they have anything they would like to say. I have the law, folks, right here. Does anybody on the board wish to speak? Nobody?
What is that?
Thank you.
What is the law that you have there?
What I have is from Drummond Woodson, and it says, Maine Supreme Court has concluded that the school boards may exercise only those powers conferred on them by the state's education laws. Towns and town voters did not create the school board, and other than voting for school board members, budgets, and referendums, towns and town voters have no authority over the school board.
You blew it, Dixie!
That is why, that is why understanding the following principles set forth by the Maine Supreme Court is so important. 1, the school committee acts as a public board. In no sense represents the town. Its members are chosen by the voters of the town, but after the election, they are public officers deriving their authority from the law and responsible to the state for the good faith and rectitude of their acts. That's from Drummond Woodson. I'd be happy to give it to you.
No, I'm fine, I understand. I also understand that what it says is that something that we already know, that if this vote were to go forward, then it's not it's a non-binding vote, which I believe is what you just said. And I also believe that the attorney that was here said that it wouldn't be out of the question for us to allow that to happen.
No, I was stating my opinion and opened it up to the board after.
No, I understand.
That's what I did.
Okay, I just wanted to make clear that my interpretation of what you just read versus what our attorney told us was that I'm on the right track.
Anybody else on the board have anything to say, Harold?
Yes, Dixie, you said that was your opinion.
Yep.
We all have opinions here.
Yes,
Some
sir.
of them expressed them on Facebook just before they got on the board. And
Okay.
I think that didn't, the vote was already voted once, a few years ago. And they said right then, whatever the vote is, we're going to abide by it. Well, it didn't turn out the way that this person said. And all of a sudden, it's an issue again. And
A vote is a vote until it comes back.
right, so this could come back. This could come back again.
Sure will.
And that's what the attorney said. This vote could come back again. And like with a referendum, this would show exactly how the town feels. Vote. I wouldn't be afraid on your side. I wouldn't be afraid of a vote.
Harold, if the board tonight, the majority of this board decides that they want to do a referendum, I will back the board 100%.
100%.
But it was my opinion.
Yes. Well, you just heard mine.
Yep, that's fine, and I respect that. Does anybody else have anything to say?
Dixie, I don't need a microphone, but I don't really say too much, but I felt back in 2015, we voted. Then we voted again, like this lady had spoken, well, we've already voted March 7th or whatever date that was, yeah? But I guess 2015, our vote wasn't good enough, so.
A vote is a vote until it's brought back.
Yes, I realize that. So I feel with Harold, we should be giving these people over here a vote.
Well, that's the discussion
They represent us, whatever that says, these people over there represent us.
That is the item that we are on is item number 5, and it says the board consideration of a non-binding advisory vote survey for the June referendum. Yes, we have to consider that. So that's,
That's fine.
anybody else have anything to say?
Richard does.
Richard?
Yes, bear with me, I have a slight speech problem. I've been on this board for 33 years. Never have I ever seen such a division. This issue has divided the town, the board, and families. From what I've been hearing and reading, the confidence and trust of the board by the public is at an all-time low. First of all, a vote should never have been taken in the first place. The matter should have been tabled until Augusta dealt with it down there. And I think that putting this out for referendum would go a long way in restoring the confidence in the board. This issue has developed into more than a board issue. It has become a community issue. When I say community, I'm talking the RSU 54 community, North York, Canaan, Cornville, Smithfield, Mercer, and Skowhegan. Even though a referendum would be non-binding, it would give the board some direction in the bill, if the bill in Augusta fails.
Is there anybody else that would like to speak?
I'll speak. I think this is a very difficult issue to speak about because people are so emotional about it. And it really is we've done this for almost 6 months. And it's really disturbing to me that we've had to focus on this at the expense of educating our children. And that's all we have talked about at this board, almost, for the last 6 months. And I don't know about the rest of you, it seems like it has, I get telephone calls, I do, all those things. We've gone to the legislature, we've done all of those things that take lots of time. And I think that there are, I look out in this audience and I see passionate people on both sides of this aisle. And I know it's really important to people, but it's divided us so badly, and that's really disturbing to me. What I think we need to do is to start thinking about how we can pull ourselves back together instead of centering in on how much we're divided. I believe strongly that we have voted. I was here in 2015. I've never been to a worse school board meeting because I thought that it was very difficult for the people on this board that wanted to change the name to speak because there was so much noise and hate. There was so much, right now everybody's really quiet while I'm speaking and I really appreciate that. But in 2015 that was not true. And it was very intimidating and it was very unpleasant. And I'm not somebody that really likes to speak in a group of people where at least half of them are not liking what I'm saying, but that's neither here nor there. In 2015, we voted, it didn't happen, it did not change, and the people that voted to change the Indian did not leave this room and try to make it different. And I think that's very important for you to know that. Nobody that voted to change the Indian name went out and tried to undermine the vote. And I think that's really important, and it's really disturbing to me that that's happened this time. I wrote my little speech, and Dixie said most of what I was going to say, so I'd just like to say that We've always had controversial issues on this school board, but we have to look at them in a different way than the general public, because we have to look at the budget, we have to look at civil rights, we have to look at the rights of all children, we have to look at the welfare and the education of all children. So our viewpoint is a little different than the people that are sitting in the audience who don't have to do that, and I think that's really important. We have to look at the broad picture. And the final thing I'm disturbed about is that this just goes on and on and on and on and on. And I think we need to have the board stop it now by voting no on this survey. And we need an opportunity to move forward. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Yes.
The last time we had a meeting, I spoke briefly about the towns having an undue burden put on them by having to do a referendum or adding this to their agenda. And after our last meeting, I went and I had a sit down with the town manager in Norwalk, who's adamantly opposed to a non-binding referendum, and he said that if he had to do it, he would backbill the school district for the first time because he thinks it's going to be costly and time-consuming and all that. And I just wanted to report back to the board on that issue. That because I think a lot of people thought it wouldn't be any big deal, but it is a big deal to the towns, and that's one of the many reasons why I'm against it.
Just one quick one. They knew what went through. Everybody went, just like Peggy said, everybody knew how bad it was before. And they still wanted to bring it up again. We knew that we have a budget, we have a job to do, we have, bringing this up again, stirred it right up. I mean, we voted on it, it was a vote, we all took it, and all of a sudden we got new members in here, and just coincidence, they were all for one side only. And tell me, this was like, you had your turn. It's the whole point. We knew that this was going to happen. We knew that this was going to be a big show, interrupting everybody and our duties, and it did. And it got a little more organized than it was before, so it was more intense. So we knew, and it's not like it just happened. We could have left it alone.
Is there anybody else who has anything to say?
I don't think I need a microphone. I think I'm loud enough. I do want to say that I believe that the problem that we're facing here and why it's such a ruckus is because it's more than just a school name. It's more than just a school image. And it may be different for some of the communities in the district, but that's the case for Skowhegan. It's part of their whole community. You go anywhere in Skowhegan and you see Indians. When somebody says Skowhegan Indian out in public, it's not just the school that they're referring to. They're referring to the whole town, and that's the uproar that we're seeing. We're not just taking away an identity of a school, we're taking away an identity of a town. Okay? That's how people see it. Okay? And you can shake your head and not agree with me, and everybody's good to have their own opinion. But I'm telling you what I hear from people that I talk to every day in my community. We've already decided that if there is a referendum vote, it's non-binding, it's advisory. That means we can do it, and we've already been told, by the way, that it should incur little to no cost. So that should not be a reason to say we shouldn't do it. But this referendum should be given, I believe, just for the fact that it is non-binding, it's advisory. It's obvious that not all of us talk to everybody out in the community, and they want to be heard. It's not saying that we have to change a vote, that we're going to reconsider a vote. It's an advisory. It's exactly what it says. Okay, we can discuss that at the time we get results from it if we want to move forward or do anything different. What I'm saying right now is, and it's been said by Richard, there is no confidence in this board anymore. And all of us need to face that. That's, unless we start listening to the people of the district, we're not gonna get that back. I think it's very important that we listen to
Is there anybody else that would wish to speak?
Yeah, I'd like to say one more thing, Betsy. As far as listening to the people of the district, I have enjoyed reading all the emails that I've gotten from people. And I'd say it's pretty evenly split, people for and against this non-binding referendum. So I don't think, it's not overwhelming on one side. I just want to point that out.
Is there any more discussion?
Yep. There was a vote in 2015. There was also a vote in 2019. This room is completely divided. It almost looks like a big equality sign if you look at it from this perspective. The room is going to stay like this until something happens. My feeling is simple, that a referendum completely undermines the legitimacy of the board. And I intend not to support it.
We
believe in you.
Is that your group meeting?
You need to be respectful of people, folks. We can agree to disagree, but we still need to be respectful of each other. Is there any further discussion?
I got one thing to ask. I have to ask a question. And the question is, we're all talking as if there wasn't anything happening in Augusta. Those people have made the decision. Now, I granted,
Folks, really?
the decision, for all intents and purposes, has been made. Now, I grant you the Senate has tabled it for now. The governor's already said she's going to sign it. The House has already agreed that they're going to sign the bill. We're going to have to follow the law eventually. I mean, I don't like it either. I hate all of this. But we don't get to pick what legislative laws we're going to live with and what we're not going to live with. We're stuck with it all.
Is there anything else?
just that the motion that we have in front of us does state that if we choose to go forward with a referendum, it will only do so if LD 944 doesn't pass. That's basically what it says. So, no harm in that. We can vote, we could agree to a referendum, and we know it will happen in June if that law does not pass. By doing so, we are showing the people that we're listening to them, and that if able to, we will hear their voice. So that's what I'm asking that we'll do, make a motion. And do you want me to read this to make a motion? No.
I think we have to make a motion. Do we need a motion to vote?
You got two ways to do this. You can vote. You can take a vote just like you want to have a motion, or you can go to directly to the vote.
I just want to make a motion.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you want me to just read it as is?
Go ahead, Jen.
Okay. I make a motion to place the following non-binding survey question before registered voters voting in the district referendum on June, what's the date?
11.
June 11th, 2019, provided that the question will not be put before voters if the act to ban Native American mascots in all public schools, LD 944, is enacted prior to the date of the referendum.
Do I have a second?
Well, I'll second it, but I have a comment on that because that would not be enacted prior to this date because it wouldn't happen until 90 days after the end of the session, which wouldn't be till
Well, I think the
the end of
enacted
summer.
refers to when the legislature enacts. it doesn't go into effect for 90 days. but-
Right, well, the governor has to sign it, and then
Right,
90 days
but
after
the
the
enactment would be at the end of the legislative action. The actual motion, the actual Senate vote or House vote would be to enact.
But it wouldn't become a law. So
Right.
it would go into an act.
That's what it is.
I will second.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded by, the motion has been made by Jen Poirier and seconded by Todd Smith. And it has been requested for a roll call vote. Oh, sorry. Is there any discussion by the board? I think we've pretty much.
I have a question. Can this motion be amended to be tabled until after a vote in the legislature has been conducted?
We would amend the motion.
Amend the motion, and if it's seconded, we can vote on.
Vote on amending this motion.
Yes.
Yeah. Someone.
So is there any discussion? On the. There hasn't been an amendment. Are you planning to?
I would like to move to amend that.
Can you tell me what your amendment would be?
The amendment would be to table this referendum discussion until after the legislature has had a chance to vote.
You have a regular motion on the floor.
Most likely, as people said today, the Senate tabled it, would fold it very closely today, and I believe people in Augusta that I talked to are telling me they believe it will probably come off the table Tuesday, most likely, in the Senate. And if were that to happen, it could be voted on in the Senate on Tuesday. If that happens, it would go back to the House, which would probably look at it again on Thursday, and then it would go back to the Senate, which would happen again on the next Tuesday. They only meet Tuesdays and Thursdays. So within a couple of weeks, probably would know the disposition before 9/24.
So time frame, getting it on the referendum ballot.
The deadline for us to put this out to the communities, the kind of the drop dead date really for this, because this question would be a single page ballot. It would be hand counted in the ballots. So it's one more piece of paper with each communities. And the date for us is the district budget meeting on the 20th. We send out the absentee ballots to the towns on the next day, on the 21st. So we would have to have, this was going to be voted on in the June 11th referendum date. We'd have to have it in the hands of the clerks by the 21st of May. So we really have until May 21. That's because the absentee ballots, people request their absentee ballots effective on the 21st. So those people, so they aren't disenfranchised. That will be the deadline. So that's nearly a month.
And the motion pretty much states that if it's enacted, this is dead anyway. I would suggest do this vote now, be done with it, so in 2 weeks, regardless of which way it goes, in 2 weeks, we're not revisiting this again.
I have a point of order, I'm sorry. Did her motion get seconded?
No.
Okay, I'm going to second that. The amendment.
There's been an amendment, she's offered, she moved for an amendment to the motion. That's a second.
And it's been seconded.
So you work back, you have a discussion.
Right.
Have a discussion.
So it's been moved and seconded to put it off until.
Did you intend a date certain?
I'm sorry?
Was your motion to a certain date?
No, until the legislature has had a chance to vote.
We did that before. We did that. We wanted to make no motions. Remember that? And Linda seconded it. I made a motion. And then, no, let's back out of it. We backed out, and then there was a vote.
I mean, the dilemma there is if you don't have a date until a certain date, is that you could, the legislature could they could act, might be at the end of June after the referendum. Okay, so you kind of got to know.
I think basically what the town just wants to be heard. The chances of the Indian coming back, let's face it, but they just want to be heard. because they sound like they're the majority. They sound like that there's, and I can't remember, there's hardly a one out there that I've ever been in the booth with or sitting in the cold bleachers, and I can picture all of these. I mean, I've seen a lot of these, the children, and that's what the Skowhegan Indians represented. Not from away, but.
Whoa.
Okay, point of order again. Date certain to me would be May 16th.
That would be reasonable.
That would be our second school board meeting in May.
Correct.
That would be date certain, it's the 16th, is that?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Okay. And then by then we can, this legislature will either made a decision or they wouldn't, and then we can do the non-binding referendum then. I think we're getting the cart before the horse. If we have this referendum and then the legislature comes through and says, we have heard these people, we know what they want. We know, but it's split. So let's move in a cautious, sequential way and do it that way, and then we can do the referendum by the 16th. We can make that decision and have it all voted on by the 21st.
Harold tried to do that once ago, and that was voted down.
Yeah.
We did that, didn't we?
I think we just ought to vote and be done with it tonight. I don't see putting it off and
I agree with
having
Jen.
everybody show up again and
Karen.
either we're gonna listen to them or we're not.
Jen?
Isn't that what the wording in this says? Can't we still vote and the wording says right now, if they enact on it through the legislature, it's not gonna be there.
Well, the difference is you wouldn't vote. It won't be on 16th.
What happened to sit on the other, it's easier. Richard has something.
Oh, I'm sorry. Todd?
My thought on this, and I appreciate Desiree's modification in the second, et cetera, et cetera. We just keep kicking the can down. Let's just, if the people want their voice heard, and there are people on this board who want to support that voice, that doesn't change whether it's today or on the 21st or the 20th or whatever. If we don't do this tonight, we're going to see this again in 2 weeks. If we don't do it then, we're going to see this again in 2 weeks. And we're going to be right at the exact same spot we are right now. So I say we go with the motion that was presented, that was drawn up by our attorneys, to go on the ballot and vote on it as the motion that Jen Poirier made.
We still got to deal with the amendment first.
Right.
Richard, I'm sorry.
My opinion, all this amendment does is it drags it out longer. I just say we should just get rid of that and vote on it. Get it over with.
I agree.
Just dragging it out.
I think people do
I've
agree.
had it night for 6 months.
Anybody else? I don't know what.
Wait, well, first and second, major discussion, you have to take a vote on the amendment.
Okay, so we need to take a vote on the amendment.
Which is?
Desiree?
To amend the original motion to after, or to wait to vote on the referendum until after the legislature has a
May-
chance.
May
May
16th.
But no
or
way
May 16th.
All those in favor? All those opposed? Are there any abstentions? Shields, huh? Okay, so now that amendment has been voted down, we're back to Jen's original motion. Is there any more discussion on that motion?
You've all got the motions.
It's the motion that was, we all set? Okay, hearing no more discussion. All those in favor? Oh, I'm sorry. She wants a roll call. So how would you like to do that?
Dixie, can you read it one more time for clarity?
Yes.
Before we vote?
Yeah, would you, Jenna, please?
Yeah.
Place the following non-binding survey question before registered voters voting in the district referendum on June 11th, 2019, provided that the question will not be put before voters if the act to ban Native American mascots in all public schools, LD 944, is enacted prior to the date of the referendum. Should I read what the actual survey question is?
Sure, I'd say that, sure.
Okay. The actual non-binding survey question would read, please check one box only. Either MSAD 54 should continue use of the Indian name, imagery, and mascot, or MSAD 54 should discontinue use of the Indian name, imagery, and mascot, is how it would read.
Want to read the rest of the qualifying statement, Bob?
The explanation.
Yeah.
The explanation, the board is conducting this non-binding survey to obtain input from registered district referendum voters regarding its decision made March 7th, 2019 to retire the Indian name, imagery, and mascot from MSAD 54.
I just thought, just to hear the whole. And this was a result of our school board attorney was here last time, had listened to the conversation, and he was asked to draft a question that was consistent and legal. That's the result.
Okay, so now we're gonna do the roll call, as I call.
How's it going?
Should we clarify?
Yeah, what is a yes vote?
A yes is that we want a referendum.
Okay, if you vote yes, it is supporting the referendum. If you vote no, it is not. So, yes, Peggy.
Yes, it's for the vote.
Yes is for the vote. Yes, Peggy.
The last time we voted, you were very clear about making sure that there was a very quiet audience. Can you do that again?
Right, everybody needs to be respectful. And no heckling, no, just let people vote. Let's get this done. Mike Bedard.
Yes.
Harold Bigelow.
Yes.
Sarah Bunker.
No.
Mary Ellen Charles.
No.
Jeannie Conley.
No.
Derek Ellis.
No.
Teresa Howard.
No.
Richard Irwin.
Yes.
Christy Johnson.
No.
Desiree Libby.
No.
Peggy Lovejoy.
No.
Brandy Morgan.
No.
Jennifer Poirier.
Yes.
Linda Quinn.
No.
Dixie Ring votes no. Amy Rouse.
No.
Karen Smith.
Yes.
Todd Smith.
Yes.
Darcy Surratt.
No.
Kathy Wilder.
No.
That is the roll call. Just have to give her a minute because they are weighted.
We'll be back for our no confidence vote, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
318 to 565. The motion fails.
No confidence.
You don't support us at all. You don't even stop.
Thanks for failing our community.
Yep, we all realize that.
We're going to take a 5-minute break.
Fifty-four.